discovered how one incredible waitress silenced a billionaire with unexpected Chinese mastery. In the small Texas town of Willow Creek, the morning sun spilled golden rays through the diner windows, setting the stage for an ordinary Tuesday that would soon become extraordinary. May, the hardworking waitress with a hopeful spirit, glided through the bustling cafe harmony. It was more than just a diner. It pulsed with the heartbeat of the community. She poured coffee, served sizzling breakfast platters, and exchanged smiles with the regulars who treated her like family. But today felt different. The rich scent of bacon mingled with freshly brewed coffee, an aroma that usually comforted her, shifted into something heavier. The familiar chatter faded when Jack, the arrogant entrepreneur with plans to buy up local treasures, strutted in. His presence filled the room like a thundercloud. "Hey there, what's with the accent?" he sneered, scanning the diner like it was a toy to be owned. The chatter hushed into a tense silence, eyes darting between May and Jack as she felt heat rise in her chest. Yet it wasn't just her nerves that churned. It was the dream she had tucked away for her younger brother, struggling to find his footing in school. She worked those long shifts not just to survive but to give him a shot at a life free from the shadows of judgment. Suddenly, the weight of her past ignited her courage. "I may speak differently, but my dreams are stronger than your arrogance," she replied firmly, her hands shaking but her heart steady. The diners leaned closer, their breaths held as she unveiled a hidden talent. Her crafted calligraphy, an art that became her escape when the world felt heavy and unwelcoming. With swift strokes, she filled a paper with elegant symbols, transforming the moment into something beautiful. Gasps echoed across the room, and a wave of pride surged, burning through the tension like a candle's flame. The diner's regulars felt an unexpected unity, rallying behind May as she stood tall against Jack's condescension. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. But Jack wasn't one to back down. His sneer deepened, reinforced by his ruthless businessman demeanor. As May's drawings graced the walls of the diner, the regulars exchanged whispers, plotting their next steps. This was no longer just about a diner. It was about their lives, their dreams under threat. With every ounce of bravery, May raised her chin. It was her journey from a timid waitress to a beacon of resilience that stirred hearts, igniting flames of hope among the townsfolk. Yet, with Jack's cold calculations and looming threats, the path ahead grew murky. In the heart of the diner, as tensions escalated, May felt the stakes rise. The essence of their community dangled by a thread. What would she do next? Would she conquer her fears and rally her friends to protect their cherished diner? Or would Jack crush their dreams under the weight of his ambition? The diner held its breath, the warm air thick with anticipation as the confrontation loomed, a pivotal moment that promised to reshape everything familiar into a battle for something more precious. Dignity, a future, and the indomitable spirit of hope. May felt the weight of all those watching her. The diners breathed in unison, a single heartbeat pulsing through the room, centered on her. Jack leaned against the counter, a smirk playing on his lips, but there was something in her eyes that broke through his facade of confidence. Drawing strength from the community gathered around her, May realized it was time to turn the tables. "You think you can come in here and take what's not yours?" Her voice was firm, slicing through the din of anticipation. "You think money can buy traditions, friendships, or the heart of this town?" Jack's smile faltered for just a moment, and that small crack ignited something in the diner. A murmur rippled through the regulars, their eyes alive with determination. Old Mrs. Thompson, sitting in her usual corner booth, nodded slowly, the corners of her mouth lifting in encouragement. "Every cup of coffee served, every meal shared, reflects our history," May continued, her voice steadying. "You may have your wealth, Jack, but we have something far stronger: community." The realization hit her like a burst of warmth. She wasn't just a waitress. She was the thread connecting these souls. Their lives were intertwined, and together they could face any storm. As she stepped away from the counter, she locked eyes with her brother, seated at a table with his friends. There was pride in his gaze, and it fueled her resolve. Jack, sensing the tide shifting, pushed back. You think a few doodles and sentimentality can stand against my plans? I'll turn this place into something profitable. This diner is just a stepping stone. A wave of anger surged through May. Profit over people. It made her blood boil. But even as Jack rattled off numbers and projections, she knew he was missing the point: the human connection. It's not about money, she shot back. It's about legacy. It's about the stories that each of us carries. Can you build a future without honor? Without respect for those who came before? Her words hung in the air. And for the first time Jack didn't respond. His bravado faded, replaced by a flicker of uncertainty. The community's solidarity filled the space between them, a wall that no amount of cash could penetrate. May's heart swelled as she turned to the regulars. You all have stories, dreams, and aspirations. Let us show Jack what this place means. Suddenly a voice from the back shouted, "Let us unite, take a stand." It was Tom, the mechanic who had run the local garage for decades. The room erupted in cheers, voices blending into a chorus of defiance. As more patrons joined in, it became clear that this fight wasn't just for the diner, but for the soul of Willow Creek. The feel of uplifted spirits resonated, filling the air with a sense of shared power. May could see it: the possibility of transformation, of standing together not just as individuals but as a family. Amidst the voices, Jack's arrogance finally cracked. "You think you can change my mind?" he barked, though his confidence wavered. In that moment, an unexpected realization washed over May. This was more than just a battle against Jack. It was about embracing their narrative and igniting a flame of hope for the future. "Maybe it's time you learned what real strength looks like," she retorted, glancing back at her brother, and feeling a spark of unity fostered among the patrons. As the diner buzzed with newfound energy, Jack's expression darkened. The stakes were higher than before. The strategies would intensify. But one thing was clear. This confrontation wouldn't just end here. Would May's newfound courage be enough to send Jack packing? Or was this just the beginning of a larger clash for Willow Creek? The warmth of community was palpable, but they all had to decide how far they were willing to go. The cheers filled the diner, electrifying the air, creating a bubble of hope that made May's heart race. As the voices of the locals rose in unity, she felt strength flow through her veins. This was more than just a fight to save the diner. It was a fight for their history, their identity, and the memories shaped over countless shared moments. Jack looked around, his smirk fading, replaced with a tight-lipped frown that barely masked his frustration. He was losing control, and the realization was like poison in his veins. "You really think this will change anything?" he spat, a hint of desperation creeping into his voice. "Change? It's already happening," Tom countered, raising his fist in solidarity. "We're done being pushed around. We built this place with our hands and hearts. You can't buy that." His words ignited another wave of cheers, the resolve palpable. May knew they had to harness this energy. "Listen up," she called out, her voice ringing clear. "This isn't just about Jack's plans. It's about our future. We need to show him we won't back down." "Yeah," someone shouted from the back, catching on. "Let us plan our own events. Diner game nights. Bake-offs. Let us invite the community to build this place back up." An idea sparked in May's mind. "What if we start highlighting our stories? Each of you has a unique place in Willow Creek. Let us do weekly story sessions, feature local artists, cook traditional meals. We can make this diner a hub for celebrating us." A rumble of excited murmurs spread through the crowd, and for a moment May felt invincible. They were turning the tide, igniting a fire that even Jack's money couldn't quench. "Is that what you think will save you?" Jack laughed bitterly, though the sound lacked its former edge. "A few stories and events? People aren't going to come for nostalgia. They want entertainment, profits, something flashy." But May stood her ground, a newfound confidence shaping every word. "We're not here to entertain your idea of success, Jack. We're here to remind everyone why Willow Creek matters. This isn't a business, it's a community, and you can't own that." The diner brimmed with nods and affirmations. Each face reflected a willingness to stand together, their shared identity rooting them deeper than any financial gain could. As Jack stepped back, his bravado eroded further, May realized something crucial. She wasn't fighting this battle alone anymore. The community behind her was a force, a living spirit that none had anticipated. But even as she celebrated this small victory, she couldn't shake the feeling that Jack wasn't finished yet. He stared at them, a calculating flicker crossing his eyes as he finally spoke, a note of mockery still present. "Fine, let us see how long that lasts, May. When that charm wears off, you'll still be stuck in the same old diner." "Maybe," she replied, heart racing with both fear and excitement. "But at least we'll face it together. We're not going anywhere." With that declaration, the diner erupted in cheers again. But beneath the surface, a fear began to ripple. Would their stand last? Would Jack retaliate with something fierce enough to break their spirit? As they reveled in the moment, May felt a cloud of uncertainty loom on the horizon. Maybe this wasn't just about saving the diner. It could be about preserving everything they loved in Willow Creek. How long could they hold out against someone like Jack, who had endless resources at his fingertips? And with the stakes rising each minute, what sacrifices would they have to make to keep their home alive? The battle had only just begun. The clamor of joy slowly settled as the last cheers faded, leaving an electrified silence in the diner. May stood amidst the tables, still buzzing with adrenaline, but her mind was racing. How were they going to pull this off? The community's hope fueled her, but the reality of Jack's threat loomed larger than ever. Tom stepped beside her, a hint of worry shadowing his usually steadfast demeanor. "What's the first step?" he asked, his brow furrowed. May took a deep breath, her thoughts racing. "We need a plan. We can't just throw events together and hope it works. We need to reach out to the community, get everyone involved." As she spoke, the sparse diner felt fuller than ever. Old photographs hung on the walls, families celebrating birthdays, friends sharing laughs over milkshakes. Each snapshot reminded her of the history they were fighting for. "We should start with those stories. Let us create a schedule for sharing them. Friday nights could be dedicated to, I don't know, tales of Willow Creek." "Perfect," said Tom, his enthusiasm reignited. "People love to reminisce. We can ask everyone to bring an old photo or a dish that means something to them." A gentle laughter surrounded them as the regulars chimed in one by one, starting to throw ideas into the mix. Annabelle, an older woman with silver hair, suggested a talent night. She smiled brightly, her eyes twinkling. "I've always wanted to show off my knitting skills, though I doubt it'll compete with young Bobby's guitar." For a moment, the diner transformed into a buzzing hive of creativity and energy. Laughter intertwined with excitement, and Maya's heart warmed as they envisioned a living tapestry woven from each person's memories and talents, reminding them of the bonds that held their community together. But beneath this enthusiasm, an unsettling thought crept into her mind. Could it all come crashing down? Jack wasn't just a businessman. He was ruthless. What if he struck back, planning something to sabotage them before they even got started? As the night wore on, May felt more empowered, but the uncertainty remained. They didn't have much time. Determined to seize the moment, she called for silence once more. "Let us meet tomorrow at noon. We need to come up with a solid plan. I can arrange the first storytelling night and we can figure out how to promote it." Cheers of agreement filled the space, and May felt the warmth of hope wrap around her. "Together we can't let this place slip away. We'll show Jack what the heart of Willow Creek looks like." But as they started to disperse, a sense of urgency gripped her. Jack would not let this go. He was out there, likely plotting. That thought lingered in the back of her mind as she helped clean up, flicking away shadows of doubt while holding tightly onto every spark of joy she'd nurtured that evening. As she cashed out the night's earnings, her fingers trembled over the bills. It wasn't just the diner at stake. It was their lives, their heritage, their very essence. Seated alone in a booth after all the patrons left, May glanced out the window, catching the last glimmers of dusk fading into night. What if they failed? What kind of future awaited them then? Just then the door swung open, and the wind whooshed in, chilling the warm air behind. Instinctively her heart raced again. Was it Jack? Hope wrestled with anxiety as she turned to look. Standing in the doorway was a figure draped in shadow. They stepped into the light, face obscured. "You need to know something," came a voice low and urgent. "Jack isn't who you think he is." May's breath hitched. What did they mean by that? The night felt heavier, and she knew the next chapter of their struggle was about to unfold in ways she couldn't have expected. May's heart pounded in her chest as she stared at the figure. The tension in the room thickened, wrapping around her like a tight jacket of dread and curiosity. Her mind raced. Was this a friend or foe? The silhouette shifted slightly, and as the diner's fluorescent lights flickered, the features became clearer. "I am sorry, do I know you?" she managed to say, her voice barely above a whisper. The figure took another step forward, revealing a young woman with dark hair pulled back and glasses perched on the edge of her nose. "I was at the meeting earlier tonight. I came to warn you." "Warn me?" May echoed, skepticism creeping in. "About what?" "About Jack. He's planning something big, something that could destroy everything you're trying to save." May felt a mix of fear and determination surge within her. She motioned for the woman to sit, heart racing. "How do you know about this?" Because the woman hesitated, glancing out into the night as if checking for spies. "Because I used to work for him." The confession hit May like a punch to the gut. The diner that had felt warm and inviting just moments before now seemed to close in on her. "What did you do?" she asked urgently. "I was one of his analysts. I read the proposals. I can tell you he's been watching your diner. His agents are gathering intel, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. He wants to take over this place and your community along with it." Shivers ran down May's spine. The urgency painted a bleak picture. But why? What does he want with Willow Creek? The woman leaned in closer, her eyes scanning the diner once more. "It's not just about the diner," she whispered. "He sees an opportunity here, a chance to build something bigger. The land is valuable. South Prime real estate, and he knows it. He'll demolish it all if that means making a profit." May swallowed hard, feeling the bitter taste of despair in her throat. This was everything she feared. All their efforts, all the stories and memories could disappear in an instant, reduced to rubble under Jack's cold ambition. "Can you help us?" May asked, desperation creeping into her voice. "We need to know what he's planning, how to fight back." The woman nodded. "I want to help. I can share what I know, but we have to move quickly. You'll need allies. And you might not like who I suggest." A chill shot through May. Trust was fragile, especially in times like these. "Who?" "Someone from the inside," she replied, "someone connected to Jack." Before May could respond, the door swung open again, a gust of wind heralding the arrival of another figure. It was Tom, his features twisting from worry to relief upon seeing May. "I thought you might still be here," he said, scanning the room. "Tom, this is." May paused, trying to gauge his reaction. "She's helping us." "Helping you with what?" Tom asked, his eyes narrowing, sensing the tension. "Jack's plans," May explained quickly, her heart pounding faster. "We need to act, and we need to act now." Tom stepped closer, protectiveness flaring in his expression. "What do you mean? What's going on?" May met the unknown woman's gaze, and a rush of determination surged through her. "We're just getting started," she declared, her voice strong, defiant against the looming storm. But as she glanced out the window again, uncertainty tugged at her spirit. They were up against a force larger than they could fully comprehend. Would they have enough time? Would they succeed in raising their voices and fighting back against a man who would stop at nothing to get what he wanted? The night felt heavier than before, pressing down on her resolve. Questions buzzed in her mind like restless bees. Who was Jack, really? What else was he capable of? And far above all that, she could feel the fates of Willow Creek hanging in the balance, teetering on a precarious edge. "Tell me everything," May urged, her heart racing once more. The woman nodded, and May felt the winds of change swirl around them. The fight for their home was about to take an unexpected turn. But would it lead to a victory they desperately needed, or a deeper fall into darkness? Would they be able to pull together the community, armed with nothing but memories and hope? As the clock ticked on and the shadows deepened, a sense of urgency crackled in the air. They were on the brink of something monumental, something that could change everything. But was it really the answer they sought? The woman took a deep breath, her expression a mix of fear and resolve. "All right, here's what I know about Jack. He's a master at manipulation, always a step ahead. He thrives on chaos, and he'll exploit any weakness he can find." May leaned in closer, heart hammering in her chest. "What does he want from you? What does he have over you?" The woman hesitated again. "He knows I have information. When I left his team, I realized I couldn't keep being a part of his plans. But he's got his eyes everywhere. If he finds out I'm helping you, Tom interjected, his voice low and steady. We can protect you. We need to figure out what moves he'll make next. His biggest move, the woman continued, is the ending of your community's leases. He plans to sweep through Willow Creek, offering buyouts that seem too good to refuse. They will be swift and he'll make it seem like it's the only way to keep the businesses afloat. May felt a cold dread settle in her stomach. My family's diner. It's not just a building. It's our history. But if everyone takes the buyouts, what happens to us? Exactly, the woman said, her voice urgent. When he tears it down, he'll put up something overpriced and out of reach for the community. A mall, luxury condos, anything that makes him more money. Tom's jaw tightened. We can't let that happen. We've already lost too much. People have to know the truth. That's where you come in, the woman said, focusing on May. You have the heart of this community. If you can rally them, if you can expose Jack for who he truly is, we can turn the tide. May felt a surge of resolve, fierce and undeterred. How do we do that? People are scared. They won't believe us without proof. The woman's eyes lit up. That's where I can help. I have documents, internal files that show everything, Jack's plans, his notes, the financial projections. It's all there. It's going to be risky, but if we can get it to the right people, it could topple him. But how? Tom asked, sharpness in his tone. You can't risk going back there. He's not just going to let you walk in and out. The woman nodded, and for a moment, it felt like the air rushed out of the room. I can get them. I can sneak in after hours. I know the building. I know the layout. What if he catches you? May's voice was shaky now, fear lacing through her every word. What if no? We can't think like that, the woman insisted, her gaze hardening. If we don't act now, we will lose everything. I've made my choice. May felt pride swell in her chest. This woman was ready to stand up for what was right, even against someone as formidable as Jack. But doubt still gnawed at her. Okay, May said, pulling herself together. Then we'll support you. We have to be prepared for whatever comes next. Tom nodded in agreement, taking May's hand tightly in his. We do this together. We'll coordinate with everyone in the community. They can't remain oblivious. Just then, the bell above the diner door jingled again, drawing their attention. A heavy-set man entered, his presence commanding and intimidating. Everything about him screamed power, and May's heart raced. Who is that? She murmured, instinctively stepping closer to Tom. The woman glanced through the window. That's Jack's right-hand man. He has trouble. If he's here, it means Jack is already watching. The air grew dense with tension as the man made his way toward them, eyes glinting like shards of ice. Well, what do we have here? He sneered, his gaze moving from May to the woman and back again. May's breath hitched in her throat. Panic washed over her. This was it. The storm they had been preparing for was here, and in the most unexpected of ways. Stay calm, Tom whispered, squeezing May's hand tighter. Stick together. As the man approached, May felt the weight of uncertainty bear down on her. Their fight had just gotten real, and the stakes were higher than she could have ever imagined. Would they stand strong against this wave, or was it too late to turn back now? The man smiled, and it wasn't a kind smile. It was a predator-esque smile. I thought I'd find you here, he said, eyes flicking over the woman. We need to have a chat about your little plans. The tension in the diner thickened, and the air turned electric. What would happen next? Would they stand and fight, or would they be swept away by the tide of fear and power? May felt her heart thumping in her chest as the man approached, each step echoing through the diner like a warning bell. Tom stiffened beside her, his grip tightening around her hand. The woman they had been speaking with turned pale, her eyes darting around as if searching for an escape route. Always lurking in the shadows, aren't you? The man sneered, leaning against the counter with a smirk that didn't reach his eyes. This little chat could go smoothly, or we could make it complicated. May swallowed hard. We're not afraid of you, she said, though her voice wavered. She was more scared than she had ever been, but something inside pushed her to stand firm. Not afraid. He laughed softly, the kind of laugh that chilled her bones. That's cute. But fear is the right instinct, darling. And you should be terrified of what Jack will do if you don't fall in line. Tom stepped forward, brimming with defiance. We know about your plans and we're not going to let you take Willow Creek. You think you can just swoop in and destroy our homes? The man's gaze flicked to Tom, assessing him with a sly grin. You're brave, I'll give you that. But bravery gets you nowhere if it isn't backed by brains. His eyes turned to the woman. Where's the info you've got hiding? You really think we wouldn't notice? You've always been awful at playing the game. This isn't a game, the woman replied, her voice stronger now. This is people's lives. You think you can just take our homes and put in your fancy condos? You're mistaken. Oh, I'm counting on it, he said, crossing his arms and leaning in closer. You see, it's all about leverage. And right now, you're outmatched. May's heart raced as she realized the tension was about to erupt. You can't bully us into submission, she insisted, her courage swelling. We'll expose you, all of you. Expose me? He stepped back, feigning surprise. You have no idea the amount of dirt and power I have at my disposal. You'll need more than just pretty words to bring me down. The woman looked at May and Tom with newfound resolve. She's right. If we can get the evidence, she said, we can show everyone what he really is. It's now or never. The man sneered, gradually straightening up. Unfortunately for you, I can't let that happen. He pulled out a sleek phone, his finger hovering over the screen. You may want to leave town while you still can. I'd hate for anything to happen to your little diner, or anyone associated with you. Threats? Tom retorted, anger flaring in his chest. You really think that will work on us? Please, I can make anything happen, he shot back, confidence radiating from him. This diner, these dreams? All gone before sunrise, if I please. Time seemed to stretch in the air, a heavy electric weight. May's mind raced through possibilities, but a flicker of hope bloomed within her. We're not the only ones, she declared. The entire community will rise up. We'll show them what you're made of. The man's smile faltered for a moment, almost imperceptibly. But then he chuckled to himself. Good luck with that. But if you start a fire you can't control, he paused dramatically, leaning closer. You'll burn with it. As he turned to leave, a sense of dread mingled with determination settled over May like a mantle. They had to act quickly. They couldn't let fear consume them. Tom, she whispered, voice steady now. We need to gather everyone. We need to show them the truth together. Tom nodded, his brow furrowing with resolve. We're not backing down. The weight in May's chest lifted. They had each other and they were stronger as a team. But just as they began to plot their next move, the bell above the diner door jingled once more. A pair of unfamiliar faces stepped inside, tension palpable around them. The newcomer's eyes scanned the room, lingering for a moment too long on the path Jack's right-hand man had taken. Oh, May muttered under her breath, feeling the intensity rise again. What now? The stakes had never felt higher. What was their next move? Would courage be enough to overcome the shadows closing in? The newcomers took slow, deliberate steps, their eyes sharp as they surveyed the diner. May could feel the energy shift. It was as if all the air had been sucked out of the room. She exchanged a glance with Tom, whose expression matched her concern. What do you want? She asked, trying to sound braver than she felt. One of the figures, a woman with a fierce gaze framed by wild curls, stepped forward. She had an air of confidence that made May both uneasy and curious. We know what's going on here, she said, her voice steady. And we want in. Tom raised an eyebrow. In? Are you with that guy? The woman shook her head fiercely. No, we're against him. My name is Lila and this is Marcus. We've been tracking Jack and his plans for a while now. We saw what happened with that last diner he closed down. We want to help you fight back. A glimmer of hope flickered in May's chest. You think we can take him down? Lila nodded. Absolutely. But we need more than just bravery. We need a plan. We have some leads on a few people in town who might be willing to stand up against him too. It's all about rallying the troops. Jack thinks he can dismantle our lives without facing any consequences, Marcus added. And maybe he can if we don't fight back. May felt something shift in her spirit. How do we start? We need everyone to stand together. Lila took a deep breath, laying out her ideas. First, we gather evidence, anything we can find that ties Jack to these shady deals. Then we can make it public. People love a good story, and if they see just how greedy he is, they'll support you. Tom interjected. But how do we convince them? Jack has a long reach, he can smear anyone who speaks out. Lila's eyes gleamed with determination. We get creative. We throw an event, a town hall meeting, something big. We can show the community the truth about him. Fear thrives in silence, but once we speak out together, we give others the strength to do the same. May felt a surge of adrenaline. It made sense. But we need to move fast. He already knows we're onto him. Just then the bell jingled again, and the atmosphere shifted again. A man with a leather jacket swaggered in, his hands tucked casually in his pockets. He scanned the diner, his attention slicing through the air like a knife. "Looks like you've got a little party happening," he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "What's the plan, folks? A bake sale?" May tensed. "And your name's Derek," he said, shrugging as if that was enough. "Heard whispers about you stirring up trouble for Jack. Thought I'd see what you're up to." "Why would you care?" Tom challenged. Derek smirked. "Let's just say Jack made a few enemies along the way. And an enemy of my enemy, well, you get the picture." "Are you suggesting you can help us?" May asked cautiously. "Depends on what you're willing to put on the table," he replied, leaning against the counter with a calculated nonchalance. The air was thick with uncertainty and possibility. May looked around at her new allies. They were just a handful of people, but they sparked something within her, a sense of solidarity she hadn't felt before. This was no longer just about her diner. It was about their community, their homes, and the fight to reclaim everything Jack was trying to take away. "Let us start by gathering evidence and calling that town meeting," May said, her resolve igniting like a flame. "It's time we take a stand." Around her, enthusiasm built like a wave. But just as plans took shape, tension curled in her gut. What if they were too late? What if Jack had something else planned? The stakes rose, and with every heartbeat, she understood that the danger was closer than it had ever been. "Are we ready for whatever comes next?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Derek's sharp gaze met hers. "Ready? Honey, this is just the beginning." What did he know that they didn't? The worry gnawed at her. But there was no more time for fear. They were moving forward, whether they were ready or not. Maya's heart raced as she looked at her small group of new allies. Lila's fierce determination and Marcus's quiet intensity gave her a flicker of hope. Yet the uncertainty gnawed deeper. Derek leaned back, a smirk still plastered on his face, like he was weighing their very souls on a scale of potential exploitation. "Let us say you're in," Derek continued, his voice calm but laced with an edge. "What do you think you can actually accomplish?" "There's a reason Jack has been running this town like it's his personal kingdom. We'll swing the spotlight his way," Lila replied, her voice unwavering. "And he will have nowhere to hide." Derek rolled his eyes, skepticism etched across his features. "You really think a couple of townsfolk chewing the fat is going to make a dent? You need something meatier, an actual threat to his operations." May clenched her fists, frustration bubbling inside her. "And what do you propose? We parade a bunch of signs outside the diner?" "I've got some connections," he said. "But I want something in return." His cocky demeanor shifted slightly, revealing a hint of genuine interest. "I can get you intel. Data about his dealings, his ways. But I need a taste of the action too. Something that can get me back at him." Before anyone could respond, May instinctively stepped forward. "What kind of action?" Derek's dark eyes bore into hers. "We make a trade. You provide me with something I can use against him in public, something that connects Jack back to the shady dealings. I'll get you the names of people who wish Jack would just vanish." Disbelief washed over the group. Lila shifted closer to May, whispering, "Is he serious?" "I think he is," May whispered back, meeting Derek's gaze. "But can we trust him?" "Maybe not fully, but he might be the lifeline we need," Marcus added. "Jack can't keep us quiet if we have proof." Derek lifted a brow, a challenge in his demeanor. "You in or not? The clock's ticking, and I don't plan on waiting around for your fairy tales." May felt the weight of the moment settle upon her. Every second that passed brought Jack one step closer to obliterating the lives of everyone around her. There was no going back. She had made a commitment to this fight. Whatever it took. "Fine," she said, steeling herself. "But we'll need a solid plan first. If we're going to do this, we do it right." Derek threw his head back and let out a short laugh. "You've got some fire, I'll give you that. Don't take this lightly. Once the chain is broken, it might snap back at you harder." Bring it on, May replied, surprising even herself with the conviction in her voice. With that, the group rallied around a table, each detail intensifying their focus, mapping out a strategy. Ideas flowed as they brainstormed names, potential allies, places to dig for evidence. Hope swelled in the air, building a momentum that gradually pushed the trepidation aside. But as May scribbled names on a napkin, a thought struck her like a lightning bolt. What if Jackie's grip on the town was stronger than they realized? What if they triggered something far more dangerous than anticipated? The diner door swung open again as a chill wind swept through, carrying an unsettling aura. May looked up to find a figure standing rigidly in the doorway, a town councilman known for his close ties with Jack. May, we need to talk, he said, his voice low and urgent. The urgency in his tone made her stomach drop. Derek stepped slightly in front of her, a protective move that sent an unexpected rush of gratitude through her. What did Jack send you for? May challenged, her voice a mix of defiance and fear. The councilman shifted uncomfortably, glancing back over his shoulder. It's not about Jack, it's about you. You're in grave danger. As his words hung in the air, May's body tightened with apprehension. What was he really saying? An uneasy silence enveloped the diner as everyone held their breath, teetering on the brink of a revelation that could change everything. Was this danger linked to Jack or something far more personal? All May knew was that the stakes had just risen and she felt the weight of every decision pressing against her like a noose slowly tightening. The diner buzzed with palpable tension, thick enough to slice through. May's heart raced, fear and determination battling within her. The urgency in the councilman's voice echoed in her ears. You're in grave danger, he repeated, eyes darting around as if Jack's henchmen were lurking just outside the door. From whom? Jack? Or someone else? She pressed, her voice steadier than she felt. The weight of everyone's eyes bore down on her. Waiting for answers, waiting for hope. The councilman looked hesitant, his brow furrowing. Both. Jack has eyes everywhere. He's not just your typical entrepreneur. He's got ties to some unsavory characters who don't hesitate to silence anyone who threatens his plans. There was an urgency in his tone that flickered like a warning light. You've opened a door you may not be ready to walk through. Tom stepped forward, fury igniting within him. We can handle it. This is about more than just a diner. It's about our community. The councilman raised a hand, trying to calm the storm. I'm not saying you're not strong, but he won't hesitate to strike back. And when he does, it could be brutal. May swallowed hard, every heartbeat echoing her determination. This was no longer just about her and her diner. It was about the future of Willow Creek. Then we'll gather everyone, hold that meeting right away. Show the community what Jack's really up to. Lila chimed in, her voice unwavering. We need to expose him before he can enact his plans. We need proof. And time is running out. Derek folded his arms, his smirk fading into contemplation. Even if you manage to rally the troops, will they really stand up against Jack? Fear is a powerful thing, and it's a tricky game when trust is involved. Fear can only hold us back if we let it, May shot back, her voice rising. We're stronger together. We can create a wave of courage. I will not let him bulldoze our dreams. Tom nodded fiercely, and a couple of regulars who had been eavesdropping in the back whispered in agreement. The spark of hope ignited one by one until the energy in the room shifted. Let us make plans, she declared. As they brainstormed viable ways to gather the community and share their stories, something shifted. The weight of despair slowly lifted. The thought of rallying the townsfolk filled her with vibrant energy. We'll document everything. The history of Willow Creek. The stories told in this diner. We'll connect it to the dangers Jack poses. Sounds good, but we need something more than just stories to grab their attention, Marcus suggested, his brow furrowed in thought. We need data, something that really hits home. May's mind raced, flicking through options like a film reel in her head. The town council. We can film a meeting where the truths are revealed. If we hold it here, we can keep it from Jack's eyes. Word of mouth could spread like wildfire. I'll work on getting our regulars to gather evidence and stories, Tom said, his excitement contagious. And spread the word about the meeting. As they plotted, the councilman stood to the side, observing in silence. Finally, he interjected, you'll need to be careful. If Jack finds out what you're planning, he will retaliate. He won't go down easily. We're ready for that, May declared, her own plans solidifying. Maybe we can use Derek's insider knowledge. The tension in the room became a collaborative effort, each contribution building upon the last, each fear transformed into a step forward. All right, let us do this. Lila shouted, her passion infectious. Flood the town with the truth, Marcus added, a clenched fist raised as the group agreed. They were ready to march forward. Days turned into a whirlwind of planning, phone calls, and incessant meetings. May felt more connected with Willow Creek than she ever had. There was energy and vulnerability, and every shared story brought tears and laughter, binding the community stronger. Then the night of the town meeting arrived, full of anticipation. The diners filled with locals, and as the crowd gathered, hope swelled in her chest. Their voices echoed through the diner walls, stories spilling like ink across pages of history, each testimony a brick laid in the foundation of their united front. But as the meeting reached its peak, May spotted a familiar figure lurking outside the cold gaze of Jack's right-hand man. The ominous presence was a reminder of the risks they took, the stakes across the board growing larger by the second. Yet the fear didn't last. Instead, it fueled the fire within. They wouldn't back down. They couldn't. May stepped up to the podium, her voice ringing clear above the chatter. We are Willow Creek. Our stories matter. Our dreams matter. And we will not let them steal our future. Thunderous applause erupted, echoing in the diner as hope surged within them. As the meeting continued, Jack's man stormed in, a scowl darkening his features, and for the briefest moment, May felt that fear grip her again. But then she looked out into the crowd, faces illuminated with strength. She remembered the calligraphy she created, the words flowing onto the paper like her dreams, tangible and strong. We will fight, she declared with renewed vigor, her community locked in her gaze. And in that moment, the cloud of uncertainty parted like a curtain revealing light. They would win this battle. They would stand firm and unite against the looming shadows. As the night went on, the boundaries of what they thought was possible expanded, hope radiating through every word shared, every story spoken. They were a community rising. The power of their collective drive would ignite a movement that neither Jack nor anyone else could quench. This was their moment, a story of resilience that would etch itself into the heart of Willow Creek forever. May could feel it, the transformation of fear into strength, of hope into action. They were more than fighters, they were a family, ready to reclaim their legacy. And as the meeting closed and the laughter and chatter filled the diner once more, May smiled, knowing they were on the brink of victory. This was just the beginning. Now, to spread this energy and pull everyone in, they needed to rise beyond fear and band together for the future of their beloved Willow Creek. Don't wait not even one more second. Subscribe immediately to the channel to be part of these exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm's hunger for hope. Comment with your emotions about this powerful ending, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. True fans of this journey show their support with every action.